Good morning. It's time to jump on that to-do list, but that home improvement project doesn't have to be a chore. Before you jump in, tune in here to About Your House to listen and learn from the most experienced and reputable contractors and service providers in the industry. On today's show, we have Todd Compton of Compton's Automotive in the house. About Your House is brought to you in part by PutToolsInSchools.org. PutToolsInSchools.org is connecting students to tools of the trades and raising awareness of the many career pathways. About Your House is also brought to you in part by Queen City Home Store. Queen City Home Store is a family-owned store. They've been serving the Carolinas for over 70 years. They're the largest independent appliance retailer in the Carolinas, constantly growing and taking pride in the experience that they offer customers with a knowledgeable sales staff, product selection, and lowest price guarantee. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some time with us as we spread a little love. And now, here's your host, Ray Terry.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to another edition of About Your House. Heard and seen live every Tuesday between 10 and noon, which you might be viewing this right now. Replayed as a podcast on audio every Saturday morning on Fox Sports Charlotte from 9 to 11 a.m. This Saturday, we're going to talk cars, automobiles, stuff, a little bit of put tools in schools. Who knows what? Who knows where we'll go, which direction we'll go in. But hey, welcome to another edition. Good to be here. Todd Compton, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Ray.
Todd's been on the show, numerous times?
Several times.
Kind of leave it there, at least 4 or 5 times.
I think so.
I wanted to get him in here to talk about, well, I think everybody needs to hear the truth about our automotive industry, automobiles, repair, what have you. It's changed quite a bit. It seems to be, from what I gather, it seems to be changing more and more every what?
Oh, I say it could be every 6 months. Yeah, so, but and I get what you're kind of going with that. Sometimes it's not so much about the automobile itself, but it's about what I'm learning about every 6 months or even a year is actually the communication and talking with the people that drive the vehicles. That's what's really changing.
In what way?
Well, back, of course, I've been in business since 2005. Back then.
Well, you played with cars before that, too.
Right.
I mean, you grew up playing with cars, probably.
Oh, yeah.
I would guess.
Yes.
So it goes way back. You've been in business since 2005. But
right.
in actuality, when did you start playing with cars? Motorcycles, bicycles, all that, Go-Karts.
Yeah, it's
yeah. But
it goes way back.
Way back to high school, probably.
Oh, prior to that. I think I was in junior high, taking apart Go-Karts.
Well, see, I bring that up because here we go, and that was your career pathway.
Yeah, it was actually my career pathway really well. So a little bit of history on that is, I grew up. So I'm from Charlotte. My mom and dad. 2
homies here.
Yeah. Yeah,
cool.
and
3 actually, really from Charlotte.
Yeah, my mom went to Central High, down where Central Piedmont's at now,
sure.
And my father went to, I believe it was Garinger. Well, growing up.
Can I interrupt you here and ask,
Yeah.
how was your father? He still with you?
No, he's not.
He passed. I'm
Right.
sorry to hear that.
And it's part of the reason I can tell you more of the story about.
Talk to me.
So, but he would have been 85 or 86,
Okay,
if I
cool.
remember correctly.
About 10 years ago.
And so he died in 1985.
Gotcha.
And so, but growing up, I remember going to race shops. I remember going to Darwall. It was an 88 Gatorade car. I remember going to these shops where they weld up the frames. So my dad would sell fuel. He'd also sell race fuel back, in the late 70s, early 80s. And he was also a photographer. He would get in some of these dirt track cars in the pace car and take pictures out of the back.
Wow.
Out of the back window.
Sure.
And just take pictures of these cars, on the pace laps. So we grew up in we kind of grew up around race cars, and then
Easy to do in Charlotte.
it was. When you got your parents that went to school with Buddy Baker and Robert Yates and Carolyn Yates and I'm sure there's some more ones.
Oh yeah, I remember because I was right in that circle as well. I grew up the same way.
Yep.
I would have been in racing if I didn't take that fork in the road when I was around 18, 19.
And so, growing up, we were involved in a lot of go-karts. I was a lot younger. My brother's 7 years older than I am. But so we went, my father had my brother into a lot of go-kart racing. So we go to Talladega, Daytona, Rockingham.
Big time go-kart racing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I remember, gosh, I don't know, I might have been 5 or 6 years old, and I had a little skateboard, and I remember skateboarding down turn 1 at Talladega. I'd hop off the wall, the barrier wall, the outside wall, and hopped on a skateboard and went down until it hit the apron, and then it didn't do so well. So, I don't think you can do that anymore, But so when my father passed away, I was 10 and a half years old, and so I didn't. That's one of the things I didn't know what I didn't know, and so we were left with a bunch of go-karts. My brother at the time, he was graduating high school and he was getting ready to go to the Air Force.
He was around 17 at that time.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, senior year. Yeah.
Yep. And so he left, and like I said, went to the Air Force, and then so that was just at the time it was just me and my mom, and so I felt like I wanted to be like my dad. I didn't know what he did. I didn't really know. I had no clue what he did, and so I would start messing around with go-karts. I'd start taking them apart. My mom didn't have the money to get me involved in the racing or doing that kind of stuff, so I would go cut grass so I could buy fuel.
Sure.
And there was a place in here, Charlotte, called F&M Pro Karting that I'd go buy methanol, and I'd ride go-karts up and down Archdale and Park Road.
We rode go-karts up and down Clanton Road. God, we share a lot together, don't we, bro?
Yeah. I got pulled over by the police in my go-kart, one time, and had to push it home, and so I felt like I had this
They
passion.
didn't take you? Geez, they could have taken you home.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I remember it was a female police officer, and it was right up Archdale. And I just remember coming down the road, and all of a sudden I see these blue lights, and of course we don't have mirrors, but I was like, what's that flashing around me? And I was like, I better look around. I was like, uh-oh. So
That's funny.
I pull over to the, I was actually on the asphalt. I was actually on the road.
Sure.
And so I pulled over kind of close to the curb and sidewalk, and she gets out, and I'm, anyway. So back then I feel like I had this passion of just taking things apart, putting them back together.
Well, you did. You was a little boy that was raised that way. Mm-hmm. I was too. I get it. Mm-hmm. I appreciate you sharing this too, because you're a prime example. Both of us, of kids that we were around tools,
right,
and people who use tools, and naturally, as a young boy, that stimulation was intriguing.
It was. It was,
and it was creative. It gave you an outlet.
Well, one thing I didn't realize, so I was never taught how to take apart a Briggs & Stratton or put it together. So I kind of learned to do that on my own. The first one I did, the little splash shield, on the bottom, that splashes the oil up.
Sure.
I was like, it doesn't need that part. I couldn't figure out how to put it back. I couldn't figure out how to put it back in. I might have been 12 years old this time.
That's funny.
And
I can so relate to everything you're saying there.
Of course, I'm sure probably what happened. That motor didn't last that long.
It blew up.
It blew up. Yeah, but
lesson learned.
Yeah. And then the go-karts had body panels on them. So I learned how to, because I ran them into curbs and stuff. So I learned how to do some fiberglass work, and then kind of rattle can it. But I do remember this one incident. I don't know how I figured it out, but I remember after my father passed away, we were going through a bunch of stuff. He had a big barn at my grandmother's house, and I'm going through it, and I find this old CB radio. And, I saw these wires hanging off of it. And obviously, it went into his truck, and then he had the antenna. Anyway, I had the little Tyco race cars.
Sure, I remember those. Yeah.
All right. So, I don't know what made me think about it.
RCs?
Yeah.
Radio controlled, yeah.
Well, you plug it into the wall, and you got the track. And
those track cars.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's got the two little
slot cars.
Yeah.
Oh, I was big in slot car racing.
So
one point in my life, big time.
So I would play with those things all the time. Well, somehow I figured out that if I disconnect the whole track but plug in the main part that powers up the track, that's 12 volts.
Yeah.
So I found a soldering gun, a soldering iron, and I soldered the wiring to the CB radio to the RC track, and I was actually getting the thing to work. And I put the antenna up. I was listening. This was in a bedroom at my grandma's
So
house.
you went after the track for voltage.
Right.
That's all that you did, and you soldered the wires, the leads to your CB radio,
Yeah.
12 volts directly. That was
Yeah.
wild.
I
And you figured that out.
Yeah, and I don't know how it worked, but it worked. It powered up that CB radio, and so I was probably 11, 12 years old at the time, and I remember I put the antenna up in the bedroom at my grandma's house, and I'm sitting here, keying the mic and hearing the truckers and talking and all that stuff, and
You done something. You big time.
I don't know how, but anyway, back to that was kind of a little bit of a rabbit hole, but back to that got me taking things apart, putting them back together. I got into BMX bikes, taking those apart, putting them together. I would my buddies around the neighborhood would have BMX bikes, and so I would buy the brake calipers, the brake pads, different colored chains at the time,
Sure.
and the chain breakers. And I'd help build bikes for my buddies. And so I just kind of felt like I wanted to, the history in our family was kind of racing. So I always wanted to get into racing, but that just really never happened. So then I got in high school, went to automotive program.
Which high school?
South Mech.
So South Mech had an automotive program, and you went to that CTE. It was back then. It was vocational education.
Right.
But
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it's auto mechanics 1, 2, and 3. Went to Central. My third year, I went to Central Piedmont in high school, and so
Which campus did you go to? Just out of curiosity.
That year, this was back in 1991, 1992.
That's why I was curious.
This would have one down downtown Queens Road or
Elizabeth Avenue.
yeah.
The main central where your mom went to school. Central.
Right. Yeah.
The Central campus.
Yeah, I remember there was a restaurant I go to at lunch. It was right there by the parking deck.
Was it Anderson's? I know
gosh.
exactly the one you're talking about, but yeah, it was.
It's gone now. But
No, they're all the old ones are gone, but I remember the one you're talking about.
yeah, it's go in there and get a cheeseburger and fries.
Was it Shiraz Grill?
No.
That was good.
No, it was right beside the parking deck.
Okay.
It was a
main
very
parking deck.
common restaurant, very popular for many, 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 many years, and then it went away.
Yeah. But just go there.
Like a lot of restaurants in Charlotte.
Well, then CP bought that land and then just
Oh, yeah.
basically bulldozed a lot of those.
Yeah. So that's kind of that's kind of going back to how I got where, in a roundabout way where I got where I'm at. I did go to a couple of race shops, and since we knew some people in the industry, but I got blackballed on that. An old friend of the family worked for one of the race shops, and he's like, you don't want to do this. You don't want. I was like, yeah, I do. He goes, no, you don't. And I was like, all right. So anyway, but so I never got into the racing, on that.
Wow, I appreciate you sharing that. That's great. That's some good history. It really is. I didn't realize between us, we grew up a lot alike. I tore my first lawnmower completely down to the pistons when I was 12 and put it back together, and
Right.
it cranked on the second pull.
That's
And that was me just playing at my uncle's house and looking at his lawnmower one day, says, we're going to tear this sucker apart and put it back together.
well. Hopefully it stayed running versus mine.
It did, because I had to mow the grass.
Got it. Got it.
So it did stay running, and it was there again, that was fun to do.
Right.
And, but it's interesting. But that's how you got into mechanical work. Now you graduated from CPCC, you got your certificates and all that stuff. Where'd you go to work?
Well, so my third year when I was a senior in high school,
Right.
I went to school and did my academics for the first half of the day, and then the second half, that's when I went to Central Piedmont.
Gotcha.
So when I graduated high school, 10 days later is when I went into the Army. And then
What'd you MOS in the Army?
it was a 63 Sierra heavy wheel mechanic.
Okay.
And
I
so-
went to wheel mechanic too.
Yeah, we worked
So
on.
we share a lot.
Yes, we do.
My MOS was wheel vehicle mechanic, and then I went to Fort Knox for track vehicle mechanic.
Got it.
I
Yeah.
was honor graduate in wheel vehicle mechanic school.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
well, I didn't know there was such a thing
Yep.
until they came in and says, Terry, you got to go to see the CO. And I says, what for? You're honor graduate. I says, what's that mean? You know, so anyway. And I had just gotten through fixing the 4-cylinder Jeep engine on the stand. Do you know what I'm talking about?
On the
It's the Jeep engine. They foul up a Jeep engine all kind of different ways. Fire and order distributor and all. They just
Got it.
mess it all up, and you got to go in there and get it running.
got it.
I had it running in 10 minutes.
That's awesome.
I mean, but it was just a 4-cylinder.
Yeah.
And
well,
once you get the fire and order and they get the distributor set up, you're halfway home, and then, you know. But anyway, it was
right.
fun.
Well, I mean, that sounds easy to you. You know, you understood it.
Yes.
You someone that does not understand, can't visualize what happens when all takes place.
Sure.
That's not an easy thing to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, but I loved engines, and I love the way they work. Yeah, I just
Right.
love to tinker with motors, engines.
Yeah.
They're engines, they're
Yeah.
not motors. Motors are electrical, folks. Engines are internal combustion machines. Right?
That's right.
You know, but people call them motors. They're not motors. Tesla's got motors, 1 or 2.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then you graduated from high school, and then what?
Well, excuse me. Went to the Army and went to
Wheel vehicle.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to basic, if you don't mind me asking?
Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Okay, cool.
And then went from there and went to Fort Jackson in South Carolina. And I joined. I was hoping this was when the Desert Storm was kicking off.
Right.
And so never went over there. But I worked on basically the motor pool, the deuce and a halves, the Hex 5 tons,
Gotcha.
things like that. The Hummers, the Humvees, had not really come out yet, so we were working on the Cut V's, which were the Chevrolet K5 Blazers.
Oh yeah, I just saw a video about those trucks and how strong they were.
Yeah,
They were really a very exceptional vehicle, and they took them off the market because of something. They were too something for street.
maybe I don't recall on those.
Yeah, well, I just saw the video like last week. I was blown away. I didn't realize Chevy made such a durable vehicle.
Right now, I know they're very coveted. Yeah, and if you find one in good shape, it's not cheap.
I know, but they're strong. But so you worked on all that.
Right, and then the Willys Jeep, they were phased out.
I know.
I remember we had crates of them that they were already assembled, but we had to go in and drain all the fluids out. And I guess they were getting ready to take them and scrap them and do whatever they wanted to,
Right.
whatever. But we had to, basically make sure all the fluids were out of them, and then from that point they went somewhere else.
I hear you.
That's
So how long were you in the Army?
wasn't there very long. I got in a little bit of trouble, and so I
They got rid of you.
well, it was mutual.
Well, no, I understand. Stuff happens.
Yeah. It was one of those things. Well, I don't really want to get into those details, but it.
You don't have to.
But
We all make mistakes, Todd.
yeah.
All of us.
Yeah.
One way or the other, we all make them. We got to grow up.
Right.
And the rules aren't easy sometimes.
Yeah. It was. They asked me, what would you like to do? And so it was like I said. It was not a. It was. I won't say it wasn't a reprimand, but it was. It just was not working out, and I was struggling with some things.
Right.
And so we cut ties. Yeah. I mean, and so I could have re-enlisted. So I could still had re-enlisted.
Right.
And so if I wanted to, but
you didn't. You got out.
I did. Yeah.
It's civilian life.
Yep. And then I went into then I went to Nashville and went to school and went to college went to NADC, Nashville Auto Diesel College.
National what?
Nashville Auto Diesel College.
Okay. How long did you go there for?
I was there for about 2 years.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And so.
So you got some pretty solid education behind you.
A little bit. Yeah. So I spent time out there, and then I worked for a dealership when I was out there. Then I moved back to Charlotte for a little bit, and then from that point moved out to Colorado, worked for a dealership out there.
What kind?
It was called Medved Autoplex. They had almost all the GM lineup.
Right, I got you.
At the time, Hummers, they had the big the H1s. GM, or no, they didn't have GMC, but they had Chevrolet, Pontiac, Buick, Cadillac. It was like Medved Autoplex.
I hear
all
you.
kind of stuff.
I hear you. Well, we're going to go further, but right now I got to speak of and about my sponsors. We'll start out with Mr. Killo, Ralph Killo. No, he is long since retired, but a great man. Third generation now, started in as early as 1939 in the Charlotte market. Killo Exterminating, one of the oldest pest control companies on the list today in Charlotte. That's Killo Exterminating. Great company, great technicians. All technicians are certified in entomology, and they know what they're doing. And you can even call Killo and request the same guy, the same technician. And I said guy, pardon me, there are some female extermination technicians out there, pest control people, so don't let me shortchange that. Yep, entomology. Killo Exterminated. Go online, set up an appointment, give them a call. That's killo.biz. Killo.biz. And let's don't forget our people at ABS Insulating. Got a call last week about encapsulating an attic. Send them to ABS. ABS is your comfort specialist. When I say comfort specialist, I'm not talking about HVAC, heating and air conditioning. I'm talking about wrapping that house up to be comfortable. Minimize your electric bills, save energy. ABS Insulating specializes in that comfort you need. Encapsulating attics, open cell, closed cell foam, fiberglass insulation, air seal programs, you name it. And don't forget their gutters. They've got a complete gutter division to take care of any gutter needs you may have, be it protections, gutter protection systems, downspout conversions, you name it. That's ABS Insulating. Go online, absinsulating.com. And Rhino Live Foundation Solutions. If you've got foundation issues, they're the company to call. Totally transparent in all their activities, licensed both in North and South Carolina. Great company, great staff, great service. That's rhinolivefoundations.com. Today, we've got Compton's Automotive in-house talking about, well, automobiles. Well, actually, we're talking about Todd and how he got to automobiles. We're about there. So I want to talk about what's coming in the automotive industry, and we'll get there, so tune in here. Todd Compton, your whole life's been around mechanics, basically.
Yes.
That's awesome. And your brother, where'd he wind up?
He works for he actually works for a big insurance company that it's not like Progressive or Allstate like that, but his main job is to build all the IT rooms.
Right.
And so he will, and the company he works for, when it first started out, their main goal was to basically go out and buy all these little small insurance companies.
Gotcha.
And then combine them all. And so what my brother does is when they combine them, he then works with general contractors, and he'll take basically like a bare floor, on a, say, 4th level of a building.
Right.
Just concrete walls, pillars, that's it. He goes in and he helps design all the cubicles, where all the server rooms goes, how the ventilation system works, the server room, how to connect. I mean, he
deals with commercial spaces for insurance companies.
Correct. Yeah, he basically builds he plans and builds the offices.
Gotcha.
And then he flies in with some contractors, gives them the plans, flies back out. Then he flies back to the place, kind of checks on what's going on.
Right.
Then when everything's all put together, he then flies back out and then makes sure all the computer systems are working, all the programs are working, makes sure all the server rooms are doing what they need to be doing. He goes and does the updates, and so he travels a lot.
Cool.
Yeah, but that's kind of in a general what he does.
I hear you. So he didn't stay with racing. He went into corporate America.
He did, yeah.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, when he worked for Piedmont Natural Gas. Well, he went to there was a tech school here in Charlotte. It was off right off South Boulevard in Scaly Bark. I cannot remember the name of it. I think that's where it was. But anyway, it was ITT, something like that.
I remember I went to it one time.
Yeah. So
Years ago.
Yeah. So his first job was he worked for a company called Data Assist.
Right.
And this was it's so foreign nowadays. But his job was he would repair computers, the CRT screen. Is that right? CRT screens, the printers, and these things were being repaired at the time.
At that time, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and so he would sit at a desk. He would do all the, work with the oscilloscopes, and then the soldering, and then to troubleshoot what's going on with these things, and then build them and put them, and then he repaired them.
Right.
Well, he at the time Piedmont Natural Gas was sending a lot of work to this company, and so fortunately, unfortunately, Piedmont Natural Gas said, "Hey, we could use you here to repair the stuff here," and then he started working for Piedmont, and then working with their computer systems, and then started working with the new development of their. This probably dates back a long way, but I remember he talked about Lotus Notes, and and I'm not that familiar with it, but I'm sure if there's listeners out there, they might remember some of what that was.
Software programs and what have you. Yeah.
Yeah. So then from that point, he went to another company that was kind of a startup, and I don't recall what it was, but it didn't do too well, and so he was kind of unemployed for several months. Then he actually then took another chance with another startup company, and that's where he's at now. So he was number 4 in line, or the 4th employee.
Right.
And now that company, this is almost 20 years ago, so that company's it's a $1 billion company.
Gotcha.
They're starting to now go across to Europe and things like that. So, but his job is to build these rooms. Yeah.
Build them out. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Well, let's get back to you, and how you got to where you started your business in 2005.
Correct.
How'd you get there?
By curiosity, I got bored. Yeah, and so I worked for the dealer here in Charlotte for, between two dealers, probably over about 10, 11 years. And it got to the point where the pattern failures, this is the same thing. And I was specialized. The shop I was in was specialized. So all I did was the check engine lights, electrical problems, like electrical gremlins, heating and air conditioning, airbag work. And so like the brakes and tires and oil leaks and coolant leaks, that would go to someone else. So I was completely specialized. It would get to the point where I would go out, I'd read the repair order, and I already knew what was wrong with the car. And so I'd go out there and pull it in and go write my stuff up. And I mean, I'll do some checks and verify it, but after doing this day after day after day, I just got bored. I'd got my ASE master certification. I became GM master certified. My CSI scores, which is customer satisfaction index for dealerships, it was always kind of high. And so there's just nothing else. There's nothing else for me. I even dabbled a little bit into used car sales. I just couldn't do that. It just wasn't me. And then, so then I started doing, some side work with a buddy of mine. And I wanted to learn more about cars.
You want to expand your horizons, so to speak.
I did. Yeah. There were a lot of things I did. I want to learn more. And so by going off on the, working off on the side with other vehicles, buddy of mine and I, we took in stuff that, I mean, we took in whatever we could get, and it was some of it was bad, some of it was really bad, and so, but it taught me a lot, and so
that's the point. This, I bring people in here in the trades, which you are, mm-hmm. No question about it, automotive. The only way we learn is through failure.
All right. Yep.
Right? And mm-hmm. through application. If you don't apply, you can't fail. If you can't fail, you can't be wrong, and you can't be mm-hmm. learning.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. I have failed many a times.
But you did it.
Yeah. Yep.
And you learned each and every time. Did you learn finally? Probably not, because you're a man, and we're a bit hard-headed.
Yeah, there's still some
shortcuts. I had this conversation yesterday with my son.
Yeah.
Yeah. And unfortunately, people like you and I that are ADHD. We're very active. We're very, prone to jump ahead. And let me guess on something. In your life, the reaction or impulsivity got you a lot, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, when you try to look at that short, I might be able to do it this way. Nope.
Just like that part you left out of that engine. I don't need that.
Yeah. I think one dangerous one was I was pulling a set of coil springs out, and I chose, and I was young. I know some guys will be listening going, "You idiot." I was like, I agree, but I lowered the control arm down. I thought I had it low enough, and I go reaching there, grabbing a coil spring. It was out of an S10 truck. I pulled that coil spring out, and I'm gonna tell you what, when that thing unsprung, my hands were on that thing, and my hands, that's a feeling you won't forget. Yeah. So
You still got your hand though.
I still got my hands, yeah. But if anybody's hit a baseball and got the vibration from the bat, that vibration, tingling, stinging feeling.
Yeah.
Just multiply that just a few times, and it doesn't feel too good.
But you learned something.
I did. I learned to make sure I put the right tools on the thing.
So when you started your business, was it a sole proprietorship by yourself? Your partner?
No, I started it pretty much by myself, but with the support of my wife, and it's an incorporated S corp.
Right.
So I through the process, I figured the things I needed was a corporate attorney, a CPA, and I think that's the only two things I want to try to make sure I had. And then went to an attorney, told him what I wanted to do, and went through the process. And then June 21st, 2005, it's the first day that I technically opened up. And that's
For business.
for business. Yep.
Right. All right, 2005.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. A lot of changes.
Yes. And of course, circling back to what you were kind of initially asking about, and what I was saying about what's changing in the automotive industry is, the technology of the vehicles, it does change. But what's really changing is how we handle the customers. That's what's changed so much. Over the years, back in 2005, I did have a computer but a lot of things were handwritten. And phone calls were always phone calls, to the customers. And now you've got email, text.
You got programs that remind the customers, all this data and I've noticed it with your business, because I am a customer, and I get notices and, all that software that you buy, and some of it I can't stand.
Right.
Some of it, I just think it sucks. But that's just me as a consumer, and I can say that. I don't like it. And you're not by yourself, because the automotive industry, and when you get into like you, a bona fide automotive repair company approved, and you're a member of different groups, associations,
right? And
you're active in the industry. And through such activity in an industry, regardless whether it's automotive or what it might be,
right.
You're going to be an industry person. You have to be. And with that comes software, control factors. And I understand it, because it makes your business run smoother and easier.
It does. And also there's things put in place also to basically cover our tail.
Exactly.
Because there's some people out there, I get, if a business has really done you wrong, but in today's world, sometimes it becomes really easy. Instead of someone coming back to us, say, hey, our car's not right, they just do a chargeback. And so we have no opportunity to try to fix something. So there's things, again, it's things I've learned over the years.
Right.
And so there's got to be things in place that protect the business. And so it's just not right to me, it's just not right. We do mess up. We are not a perfect shop.
Oh, if it's mechanical, you're going to mess up. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, and so
it happens.
And if we don't get something right. Instead of calling us back or saying, hey, we have a problem, instead, all of a sudden, I get an email from my merchant company saying, hey, you've got a chargeback. What? You know, this, okay, you know.
It would seem to be that stuff's kind of not fair is not a good word, but not legal, you know.
Well, it is.
Then you have to go chasing. Like you got time to do that on top of the everyday chores you've got in business.
Right. And yeah, and so there's things that so with the software, there's things that we have to put in place that not only they protect us, but also it gives the customer a concrete information. Mm-hmm. You know, so back in the 2005 when a lot of things were handwritten, there could be a loss of communication as far as what something might have cost. And then as a business, you're not trying to do anything wrong. As a customer, they're not expecting anything different. But what happens is a conversation over the phone, someone may not have understood. And so what happens is when someone then comes to pick up their car and they said, oh, well, my bill's $100 more than you told me on the phone. And now what are you doing? So if it's not written down, it's a lie. Either you're lying or the other person's lying, even though it's miscommunication. So with all the digital stuff, there's a paper trail, an easier paper trail, and it's easier to pull up. So that way, whatever we do, before we ever do anything, customer knows exactly, sees it, has it saved, and sees it, and knows exactly what they're paying. So that's where some of the automotive industry has changed.
Technology's a part of that.
Yes.
The technology curve, because technology's changed everything in our life since 2005.
Oh, yeah.
Especially since 2010. Mm-hmm. That's kind of a benchmark. I don't know why, but it's used as a benchmark with time. 2010.
I feel like when smartphones started having the effect on everybody and you could use the internet in the palm of your hand is when the decline.
Right. Yeah. The decline started in 2010.
So somewhere, I think that's why a lot of people use that, because I think that's kind of when smartphones were introduced.
That could be. I haven't really looked at it that way. And that's very that's probably dead on.
Well, there's a new study out. New studies out all the time, But it's since 2010, our children are less intelligent with cognitive abilities as we were at their age. It's declined considerably because of technology. Because 2010 also was the year that they started applying technology to classroom learning.
Got it.
And so since then, the decline is tremendous. And here we are. And now I don't know where it's going to stop, but in your field, there again, you're alluding to what I tell people all the time. What's the most important thing we do every day?
Right.
It's communicate.
Right.
And and that becomes a problem with you and your business, and the fact that it's not fail-safe, so to speak. And that's what you're trying to prevent. And as a businessman, you don't want these problems to come up.
No, you don't. And what's interesting when you talk about communication, and so we do have bad reviews. We do. And
I'm sure you do if you're in the automotive industry and with people.
Right.
People are somewhat of a problem sometimes.
Yep.
I'm not saying that it's all their fault or all your fault.
No, and the ones that truly that we deserved, the 1-star reviews, and I will say there are some that we deserved, because there are some that we don't, but the ones we deserve, I will own up to those. And a lot of times, if when I go back and look at those reviews, it comes down to it's not because the car wasn't fixed, it's because of communication. And so the better that we can learn how to communicate, and then the multiple platforms of communication, that's where the industry has been evolving. So you've got to, some people, the way their lifestyle is, they may only like email. Some other people, the way their lifestyle is, they may only like text. And then, of course, some people, they prefer phone call. And then that comes down to recording phone calls. Because then if something was said and something doesn't, and you want to make sure, as a business, you want to make sure that you honor what you said. So now you can go back to recording and say, yep, Yep, that's what was said, and make sure that's what was done. So with all, that's how, again, I'll go back to how that's a lot of things have changed. It's just dealing with the public and making sure that we deal with them or work with them the way they like to be communicated with. And that's what's been really important.
Gotcha. And we hadn't even opened the door to the car yet.
No, no, that's just the start.
Well, and there again, it's about relationships too.
Yes.
And trying to establish relationships with all your customers. The one thing that I can say about automotive, it's no different than home service. Might it be electrical, plumber, HVAC technician, or whatever. We're all providing service, servitude, purpose, and that becomes a problem if we don't communicate well, especially in today's world.
That's right.
That's something I do. Communicate, but every now and then you can just mess up. Something falls through the cracks.
Yep.
With all this technology we have, it isn't necessarily an easy thing. It really isn't, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, it could be. I mean, there's definitely things that fall through the cracks. And
Yep.
There's no doubt about that. But
Well, let's talk about some sponsors.
sure.
Queen City Home Store. Queen City Home Store is actually, Queen City Home Store is opening new stores all across North South Carolina, and they will supply you with anything, be it furniture, be it media, be it appliances, be it anything for your home, home furnishings, bedding, you name it. They've got you covered. That's Queen City Home Store. Go online, queencityonline.com. You can do shopping right there online. You can give them a call at 704-391-6000. Queen City Home Store, been a part of Charlotte, been part of the Charlotte market since 1952. That's, do the math, that's almost going on 75 years, 3/4 of a century. Yeah, I know very well because I was born in 1952.
That's your whole life.
Yeah, right. My whole life, Queen City Home Store. Queen City Audio, Video, and Appliances, formerly now Queen City Home Store, your go-to home furnishing store. And best appliances, best deals at any there, best price guaranteed. That's queencityonline.com. Don't forget about your floors. That's right, Floor Coverings International, Southeast Charlotte. Soon to be a different name, I was told. We'll keep you abreast of that, but that's Floor Coverings International, Southeast Charlotte, bringing the showroom to you. Yourflooringteam.com is their website, yourflooringteam.com. Go online, check them out, set your appointment up. They'll come to you, bringing you whatever you may need for your floor covering needs, be it stairs, hardwoods, engineered floor, LVP, luxury vinyl planker, LVT, luxury vinyl tile. They've got it all, so give them a call. Go online, yourflooringteam.com. That's Floor Coverings International, Southeast Charlotte. Today we've got Todd Compton in the house, Compton's Automotive, and great go-to automotive company on Sirius.
Cyrus Lane.
Out near the airport, West Charlotte.
Yes.
How long have you been at that location?
That particular building, we moved in that building in 2008.
3 years after you started your business.
Yes.
And you've been there. You've had some struggles through that time too, haven't you?
Oh, I've had plenty.
Yep. And see, if you said you didn't, everything's rosy, I'd say you're lying to me now. Come on now. People say business is great always in Charlotte. No, it's all cyclic. It's got highs and lows. Right?
It does. It does. I mean, I'm probably sure I can speak for other business owners, but some days you'll be flying high, and the next day you feel like everything's getting ready to crumble.
Right.
Yeah. It's just sometimes the swings are quite a bit, and over time he's got to learn how to figure out how to balance that out a little bit more.
Yep. You try anyway, don't you?
I do.
What's been your biggest issue since you went in business? Is there one thing that you could say?
Yes. 5 years ago, if you asked me that question, it would be a different answer. But looking back I would say it's really nothing to do with automotive. It's got to do with learning my books and learning business. Yep. Learning how to read a P&L statement, learning what the balance sheet means, your cash flow statement, learning what that means, and then knowing how to move everything from your point of sale or what the business is doing into your books, and understand what you actually need to pay your bills and to actually make the 4-letter bad word profit.
Right.
You know, and so that's the biggest thing that's happened to me is learning how to do that.
I have to say, being in the trades, that's probably the most important thing you need to learn.
Oh yeah.
Because it's been my biggest failure. And I'll own that. To this very day, at 75 years old, I have not managed money well at all. I've gone out and I've had the short-sighted, stupid outlooks like it's just money, you can make more money. Mm-hmm. But you can't make more money if you're not healthy. And the older you get, the more you got to be concerned about that, because you're going to break. Life will stop, and it does. But if the one thing I could, and I do recommend this to kids, people think I'm down on college. Not necessarily. I think that if you go into a career pathway in college that you're not sure about, like political science or some biology major or whatever, I think we all need to be more aware of our true pathway and apply one thing, and that's our business sense, to your point.
Yes.
If you go to school and get a business degree, at least they're teaching you about business, right. And you can apply that to about any business, regardless what it is, electrical, plumbing, mm-hmm. heating and cooling, automotive,
right.
Concrete work, masonry work, whatever the case may be. If you don't know how to manage your money and make a profit, you're going to do like 80% of the people going into business. They fail.
Yeah, I remember.
And I failed a time or two.
Yeah, I remember years ago. Of course, I go back to what I did. You don't know what you don't know, and I thought I was doing my books right, and it showed a profit. But I'm like, where's my money at? Yeah, and so even then, at the time, my CPA couldn't even answer the question. But over the past 2 years, I've worked with a consultant on teaching me how to understand my book. Yeah.
How old are you now?
51.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Great age.
Mm-hmm. And so when I worked with this consultant, that's when the light bulbs started popping. Yeah. And when I would run my business out of my checkbook, that gets you in a lot of trouble. Yeah. And so now when you run your business out of the balance sheet and P&L and cash flow statement, then you can run your business. You can make better decisions. Yeah, and you can actually take care of customers better. Yeah. So, and when you have money in the bank, when a business has money in the bank, I can't speak for all business, but mine. And if we run into an issue, or if someone needs a little bit of help, we can give that. I know I can give that help. And versus if I'm running out of my checkbook and like I can't afford to help, and so now I can get to that.
You get a bigger picture.
You get a bigger picture, yeah. Right. Yep. So that's probably the biggest learning curve that I've had in 20 years, and it came late.
Well, but it's come,
mm-hmm.
and you're dealing with it.
Right.
You're owning it, and you're mm-hmm. dealing with it.
Yeah.
And there's one of the things that a lot of men have a problem with, and that's just owning it.
Yeah.
And once you own it and you can confront it, we all make mistakes. Lord, like we both share, we've made our share, mm-hmm. Through the years. And I hope the majority of them are over, for me anyway. I'm on the downhill side here now. But it's been a blast. And the bottom line, though, is you can still go out and make money.
Oh, yeah.
If you've got a trade, working with your hands and your mind, you can always make money. Mm-hmm. Right? You
can, absolutely. And
now we're going to wrap up the hour here. We got about 10 and a half minutes to go. And I want to hit this now. Okay, you're in the automotive industry, mm-hmm. service, trade, right? Purpose-driven business.
Correct.
How do you think AI is going to affect the automotive industry like yours?
I think it's going to affect in a customer service relationship type setting, to replace hands-on technicians, unless you got robots, No, I don't think it's going. That's not going. I mean, of course, I know there's out there, but now there's information that the technicians can get that might make it quicker. But as far as performing the actual
You
physical
can't.
work,
AI will never take the place of an automotive technician.
correct,
Bottom
Correct.
line, right?
correct,
And that holds true for plumbers, electricians, HVAC technicians, brick masonry. The service industries and trade industries, be it manufacturing, manufacturing robots and AI will take some of those jobs. However, not all of them. Remember, somebody's got to fix the robots. Somebody's got to repair and maintain all the facilities that these businesses are housed in. You'll never take away the human element in repair and service. Never. It's impossible. To certain degrees, yeah, robots can repair on site through a integrated technical, system, but it'll never take the place of hands-on. And I got a call last week to that effect, and I may have shared it in last week's show, about a guy called me from Delaware doing an article for the Charlotte Ledger and wanted to know if I'd talk to him about my opinion on how AI is affecting kids, the recruitment or the awareness about kids around AI and the ability for AI to how it's affecting the trades.
okay,
And I told him, I says, well, first of all, 8th graders, 9th graders in the Charlotte-Mecklenburg school system are not aware or even know about the trades. They don't know what the trades are.
right,
And I know this firsthand because I've been in 5 middle schools this year alone, and the kids do not know what the trades are in the 8th grade. Last year I was at 2 schools and interviewed the 9th graders. And the 9th graders did not know what the trades were. Now, the 9th graders were coming out of the 8th grade, obviously, that didn't know then. Now they don't know now. So we've got 9th graders, first year in high school,
right.
that aren't even aware of the trades. Now, how in the world can I talk about how AI is going to affect the trades when the kids don't even know what the trades are? Now, folks, I know I drill this home a lot, but we got a big problem in this country.
Yeah.
It's big.
Yeah.
And but you ask them who's going to college, they all raise their hand. Which that's all well and good, but we all know that's a joke. That's not real. First of all of them don't need to go to college. Second, they're being trained, herded, driven, manipulated into going to college because that's the academic successful pathway. Wrong.
I'm going to push back on that just a little bit.
Please
So
do.
now you need to specify what type of college. So yeah.
I concur.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
So like an electrician, they have to go through journeyman. I mean, someone's got to teach them Ohm's law.
They don't have to go to an apprenticeship program to learn to be a good electrician. Yes, it helps, just like your pathway. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you went to college. It helped. But you went in the direction of your career pathway.
Right.
I couldn't agree more. I'm not against college or education.
Right.
But there again, I'm upset about the misinformation going out to our kids and and raising the awareness of the complete menu of life and career pathways. We're not providing them with the knowledge and the pathways that are out there. Like when the 8th and 9th graders aren't even aware of what the trades are.
Right.
How in the world can I?
That I totally agree with. I totally agree.
But as far as going to college, I just said, go to college, get you a business degree. Mm-hmm. You don't have to go to a 4-year college to get that.
Right.
You don't have to go but 2 years to get that.
Right.
Because college is turned into a cash cow. They're going to suck the blood out of you as long as they can. Mm-hmm. And that's just the way it is. That's not me talking.
Right.
I'm not saying that for me to be right. I don't want to be right.
When you talk about the college, the trade school, I almost prefer, if the students go to a trade school.
Good point. Name one.
Central Piedmont.
One, Central Piedmont, right.
That's what I got.
And then you got Aspire Trade High School. But that's it.
Right. Yeah.
But that's it.
You're right. You're
So
right.
how in the world can we perpetuate trade high schools when we don't have any?
That's a fair point.
And it comes in conversation when I'm talking.
There are some broadcasting schools that if you
There
you
are
can learn some of
cosmetology
the-
schools.
Yeah.
There's
Right.
automotive schools. There's,
Right.
there are schools out there for the trades, but they're few and far between. That's the point. And when I'm in conversation with a high school kid,
Right.
he says, "I'm going to go to trade school." I says, "Which one?" What do you-
That's-
then he looks at me and says, "What do you mean? Name me a
Yeah.
trade school."
Yeah. Yeah.
And they don't know of a trade school because, and now I sent an email to CPCC. I want to go back out to Harper campus, take a tour,
Right.
get up to date, up to snuff, so I can tell kids, you can go to CPCC for 2 years, come out, go to work. And you don't even need to wait 2 years to go to work because
No.
what you get in the class,
Yep.
you can get a job in that particular field.
That's right.
But back to your trade school. I would love to say go to trade school.
I'm speechless because you're absolutely right.
There aren't any.
I think there's a welding school down in Rock Hill. I
There are
think.
several welding schools. We got Jason with Arc something. It's a welding school.
Okay.
He comes to some of the trade days now. Great guy.
Right.
Welding, super career pathway, and highly recommended. You get into welding, and females make great welders. I mean, better welders than men, and you can make six figures in less than 2-3 years.
The problem is with the trade schools, though, is some of them you don't know which ones are good and which ones are just there to take your money. That's
Well,
another issue with it.
I'll tell you this, one of the best, most affordable trade schools around welding there is CPCC's Harper campus.
Yeah.
Great welding program. And once you get into there, sky's the limit. I mean, that's all I can say. And you don't have to go beyond 2 years. I mean, you can go the pathway you want to. It depends on which area of welding you go into, just like every career pathway. Automotive, you said you specialize. And on that note, next hour, we're about 2.5 minutes here. We got to hour number 1. I got Todd Compton, Compton's Automotive. We're going to talk about the cars, how cars are changing, how they've changed, and what we should know about the future to come with cars, because they're changing in a lot of ways that you're not going to like too much. And we're going to, am I right or wrong?
Depends who you are.
Well, you know what I'm talking about. Electronics and computers, they're taking over our vehicles.
Well, it's already there.
And that's what we want to talk about. So, and we're also going to talk about help. Help, like, has that ever been a problem, finding the right help?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to find good technicians. You still got the race car driver, young man?
Oh, yeah, Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel.
Yes.
He's a great kid.
Yeah, well, he was in high school when he started with me.
Right. And
Yeah,
he's turned out to be a great employee.
Absolutely fantastic.
And that's what we need to start looking to do, is get these kids out of high school into a career pathway they're happy with.
That's right.
He's still racing race cars?
He does.
Cool. I love it. Daniel, what's his last name?
Wilk.
Wilk, yeah, I remember doing an interview with him. Great kid.
Yeah, he is.
And I'm sure he's doing you well, too. How many technicians you got now?
3.
You got 3? Is it hard to keep 3?
As long as you treat them right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's another factor in our world today, and we're going to talk about that too. Leadership. How can you run a successful business if you can't be a leader of men and women and people, a manager of people?
Yeah, I learn to try to lead from behind, and I try to support the staff on what they need to do. That's kind of how I lead.
Well, if you support them and you take care of them, they'll take care of you. And I think that's where a lot of companies go wrong. They can't keep it together. You've been listening to hour 1 of About Your House on Fox Sports Charlotte, 9 to 11 every Saturday morning. We got Todd Compton in the house today. Talking about automotive, well, actually, we heard his story of how he got here. But we're going to take a break here, and we're going to come back with more About Your House. Hour number 2 coming your way. Stay tuned for more right here on Fox Sports Charlotte.
You got that time